Well, once again, better late than never. We're here. All right, so I practiced for this week. Welcome to Loquacious Libations, Whiskey Wednesday, Battle of the Bottled in Bonds Bourbon Blind, Round 3, a scientific sipping and hellacious Helene hurricane party. How'd I do?
That's a mouthful.
Yes, it is.
That was more of a mouthful than what I've been dealing with. I'm glad you said that. Well, why don't you explain what we're doing this week? Because
yes, sir. And
it needs explanation.
All right, so here's what happened last week. As those of you who have watched us know, we've been doing bourbon blinds, bottle and bond bourbon blind battles for the last 2 weeks. So last week we had 4 different glasses out here that were like this, the Glencairn glasses, and 1 odd glass that was the whiskey style glass. Like
because
this.
We ran out of Glencairns.
Right. So Scott has 2.
Which tells us that we need to go buy another set of Glencairns.
Right.
And, you know.
An excuse, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, bottom line is when we finished the live stream last week, we were talking afterwards, and we were wondering if Heaven Hill actually belonged in 5th place.
We were both very surprised.
Right.
That both of us, I guess we should start out saying both of us really like this bottle.
That's been one of my favorites so far.
It's one of the, it's not
value proposition.
It's not Heaven Hill's flagship, but boy, it's.
Hi, Sherry.
For $38 at Sam's Club, this is a pretty good value. This is a value proposition. Now, what I recognized last week, and I've been thinking about it for a week, is when both of us put this in last place right away. Well, it was because we think it was because of the glass.
Right.
But we were both very surprised, and I've known Hatter for a very long time, and the part of the equation on his face was, I spent $50 and it came in last place. Are you kidding me?
I never said that out loud, but he did catch that. Yeah. So anyway.
So especially knowing that because the same
park was gonna fall in there somewhere.
Well, the same time. Did we buy these 2 on the same night?
I think we did. It was 2 different places, but I believe they were both part of that bourbon blind. I mean the hunt.
That video. Hunt video. I think.
And for those of you,
because I remember talking about
it's on YouTube.
Yeah, I remember talking about this. So I think that Michael did the math in his head and said he could have gotten 2 bottles of this for the price of this, and had some money to put in his gas tank left over, and was like, well, shit, is this really a value proposition?
They can hear us. It's only through the phone mic right now. There's our Laurel and Hardy for the week right there, our tech issue. Y'all bear with us just a moment while we get our real microphones on. Today has been kind of crazy, man. It really has. We'll get to the craziness roundup in a few minutes, too. But back to what we were talking about with this, too.
Well, let's get the mics on.
Yeah.
We almost have to start over. Because they're going to be like, what the fuck?
No, they'll be able to hear through the phone mic. Remember, we did the first cast with that.
I know.
We're even closer now than we were.
Do you have it on?
We have it on.
No, I'm still. There we go.
Hang on, let me plug it back in.
No,
Now we should be on.
I'm still flashing.
There we go. Testing 1, 2, 3.
There we go.
Or here, as one of my old bandmates used to do, testies 1, 2, 3. Anyway. All right. Well, looks like Sherry's our only viewer, so I hope I didn't offend you there, Sherry. Anyway, back to our descriptions. You were saying about benchmark when I...
Well, okay.
Got distracted.
And, I think that going back to what I was saying, the calculation on your face last week was precious for me.
Right.
Okay, because I recognized the matter right real quick. He was like, I could have got 2 of these bottles and put $8.50 into my gas tank for what I paid for this. And when you drink a lot of cocktails, a bottle only lasts 12 cocktails,
Right.
plus a little left over. So, and this is one of those bottles where it's like, hey, you can have your front bottle and 3 backups, and you haven't broken the bank.
Exactly.
As opposed
Kind
to
of my
having
philosophy over here.
as opposed to having 3 or 4 of these bottles, that's a rip. That's a good amount of money.
You know what? Considering what we paid for this, though, what you told me before we went live is exciting, and I can't wait to get to that. The store.
Oh, yeah.
You found something else from last weekend.
Yeah. No, I mean, I want to go to that store
before we go off on too much of a tangent.
That's a big tangent. So
Wayne Kelly, hello.
Explain what we're doing.
All right, so here's what we're doing tonight.
Because both of us were shocked that this came in last.
Right. So this came in first in round 1, in our budget round, and that's the benchmark bonded, the bottled in bond. Heaven Hill came in 5th, and we believe...
In the second round...
We speculated last week after the live stream that it may have been the difference in the style of glasses. So where that led to was we lightly discussed the possibility of doing this very thing this week, but we didn't really place a whole lot of value in it yet. The next day I kind of looked a couple of things up, and I found something that leads me to believe that we might be onto something here.
Well, yeah, because the article that you found clearly says that the profile will make it the glassware...
The different style of
and
glass,
here,
yeah.
For as long as I've been sipping whiskey, I've been sipping whiskey out of Glencairn's.
Right.
Because my granddaddy, he drank it out of his coffee cup or Glencairn's. But if you drank it out of his coffee cup, it had coffee in it too.
Right. Now, my experience was exactly the opposite. My granddaddy usually had either tumblers, or if he was just like his daily, he usually would get those little Dixie plastic clear cups.
Oh,
That's what
yeah.
he has Manhattan in, almost martini shaped.
See,
but
yeah, a Manhattan can go into a rocks glass. I mean, that's one of those drinks.
But because he didn't do
traditionally
this
served up
anyway,
right?
He didn't have that kind of glass.
He didn't have that kind of glass.
So I was just always around the bigger glasses. So when I went to buy something after we started doing this, I got those. I should have gone with the Glencairns.
It doesn't matter because here,
or at least that's what we're postulating tonight, right?
Right. I was going to say it's led us to here.
Right.
So, and I think that it's going to be it should be of interest to the audience,
right?
To see. Well, and here
before we jump right in, that article, the way that it did it, the smaller glass with the smaller area at the bottom is going to affect the way that you get the aroma of the alcohol and the taste of alcohol out of this. So when you have a wider surface here, you've got more oxygen touching the top surface of it. I know we will usually actually swish it to get a little oxygen in it, but that's controlled because of the way that this glass is. With these, even though they're still flared at the bottom like this, you've got a wider surface at the bottom. It affects the way that the alcohol evaporates out of it, and
it's got a much bigger opening too.
Right. So it hits your nose differently. So what I read led us to believe that these are actually going to be a harsher nose because you're going to smell more alcohol in the larger opening glass as opposed to the actual bouquet of the liquor.
Correct.
So
that's our postulation.
Right.
So what we've done is we have poured, and we don't know what's what at this point.
Trip. New daddy Trip. We have a new addition to the family.
Congratulations, brother.
And Trip, may I give the name? I'll wait for your approval on that. But it's pretty cool.
That's cool.
So,
so here,
anyway,
going back,
what
we've done is we have poured a sample of Heaven Hill in one of each of these types of glasses, okay, and a benchmark in each of these types of glasses.
Right.
Now, the reason that we're using benchmark is because benchmark came in 3rd place last week, and there was a big separation between the top 2 bottles, the middle bottle, and the bottom 2 bottles. The bottom 2 bottles were Heaven Hill and 1792 bottled in bond. So we thought, well, this would be a good benchmark No pun
No,
intended.
no pun intended, but appropriate.
Because it was right in the middle, and it should, if our theory postulates correctly or incorrectly, then it should do better than this bottle, regardless of glass.
Right.
But because we know both of these profiles so well, we were so surprised that this came in last, and even he said yesterday, I'm surprised that those two weren't flip-flopped. Okay?
Right.
So we're going to find out, really, if our palate and nose can distinguish, first of all, which is the benchmark and which is the Heaven Hill, or are we going to feel like we're tasting 4 different whiskeys here?
Right. And will we be able to tell each whiskey in each glass?
Right. So
we've got a couple of different experiments going on
Yeah.
here tonight. Right quick, Wayne Powers, thanks for joining us. I was actually talking to Wayne shortly before here, and remind me to circle back. One of you reminded me to circle back about something concerning Wayne. Wayne knows what I'm talking about already. Sherry Thompson-Wallace asks, Hatter, did you ask Sage about the White Russian and Black Russian? Can you make one or the other with vodka, without vodka?
without vodka.
Yeah, so can you make a White Russian without using vodka, or is that exclusive to the Russian drinks?
Those two drinks
Those two particular
are vodka drinks.
Okay. So, Sherry, there's your answer. I'm sorry I forgot to ask you about that.
If I would say, though, you could make those with Everclear.
And the name of my new great-nephew, Randall Calvin.
Oh, isn't that cool?
Named after his granddaddy and his uncle.
Yeah.
Because his uncle's name is Randall as well.
Well, that's really awesome. That's awesome, Trip.
Very cool.
Congratulations again.
Congratulations. Man. I can't wait to meet y'all. I don't know if y'all will be at the family reunion in a couple of weeks or not. That's a lot of traveling with 5 kids and one of them being a newborn. But
Ooh, yeah.
I will make it a point to come up and see you guys soon. As soon as I can, anyway. All right.
The holidays are right around the corner, man.
Little quick housekeeping. Let's do our social media, and then let's jump in. What do you think?
Are we gonna do craziness?
Oh, yeah,
Two?
we got to do the craziness roundup. Do you want to get to this first, or
I don't care.
Just either way.
We can talk about some of the craziness while we're sipping
While
too.
we're sipping, there you go. Like you would in a bar.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. Social media, YouTube. We are almost there. We're at 46 now.
It didn't look today, but
we need a few more subscribers on YouTube in order to start
doing
casting
our
live
live
from there. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I didn't do any production last week. That's probably going to follow going forward here too, because I've got something
so
else
much
on my plate a
technical
little bit.
difficulties he's been running into.
Yeah, and plus I've got some more stuff on my plate that we'll go over later. And
Right, you got a lot more on your plate.
Yeah. So, but when we go on live on YouTube, there really won't be any need for all that extra crazy production. So we'll still do ads and stuff like that. Might even open us up for more stuff like that. So
who knows? We'll see where it goes. We're just having fun.
Yep.
You know.
All right. And social media is YouTube at Loquacious Libations. Facebook at Loquacious Libations. We're still trying to build up so we can move the main content of this program over there as well. And then Scott's
Instagram, which I've been sucking ass at. Although I did post Old Fashioned this week.
I saw that.
It's loquacious_libations.
On Instagram. All right. Well, your choice. Craziness roundup or round one? Here?
I think let's start sipping because you know we came in late and these people want to see what we think.
There you go. Your
Oh
palate
yeah,
cleanser.
thank you, sir. You got
And
crackers.
I have
too.
our soda crackers
All right.
back here as well.
You know, got to wet
We are
the whistle,
ready
I
to
guess,
go.
to
Yep,
start.
That's kind of what I was thinking. That's why I cracked mine open.
Now I look like I pissed my pants.
They won't be able to tell. All right, let me keep up with the chat here too. Let's see. Wayne says it keeps stopping. I got about half of what you said. Okay, hopefully, like it did last time, you guys experienced this from that side. Hopefully, we'll still get the whole recording, and that will be posted on YouTube. Since I'm not going to do any production, I'll have that up tomorrow.
Dude.
Uh-oh, he's already discovering shit over here.
Yeah, no, here. I don't know, because we don't know what's what, but nose A, nose A, then nose B, and then D. Just nose it.
Okay.
Nose A.
Nose A. So we're going based on that.
Just trust me.
That's not bad by itself.
No, I'm not saying it's bad.
Little ethanol.
Now
Okay.
nose B and
Nose
D.
B.
One of those B and D is the same as A.
Right.
So immediately say B. No, it's not the same.
Okay, so we've proven one thing already.
Yeah,
the wider top glass definitely affects the nose.
No question.
It definitely seriously affects the aroma. You get much more ethanol out of the wider glass.
Do the same thing with C.
Yep. Susan Harmon is watching. I was actually telling her about us yesterday. From Hapeville. Yeah, that wider top makes a difference.
It's a huge difference on the nose. Huge difference on the nose.
Man.
Both of these noses are really nice.
Okay, so in one regard, we already know, yes, the glass makes a difference. I'm willing to bet you the taste is going to be the same.
I think C has a better nose out of this A and C.
Check that myself. Yeah, it's softer, more subtle.
Yeah, it's
even the ethanol.
It's more subtle. It's more elegant. I used that word last week for Henry McKenna, which
that's sharp.
Yeah,
as far as the ethanol aroma out of that.
But I couldn't pick out which is which of any of this so far.
Funny enough, if I had to pick right now, or should I even do that?
Well, okay, gun to your head.
Gun to your head. Heaven Hill
is
A.
Is A really?
Funny enough, yeah.
Because you feel that's the same nose you got last week?
Well, and could that be the fact that the other four were in Glencairn and that was the sharp one last week because of that wider glass?
But C doesn't smell as sharp as A.
And in that case, you would think it would be Heaven Hill, but that's kind of why I'm going the other direction with it. I'm thinking we might be surprised here.
See, if you put a gun in my head and said which is which, their color is so similar, and I knew that.
I was just noticing that.
I knew that was going to be the case. But I would say over there for you. I was going to say D is the Heaven Hill. But I don't know. That's only a gun to my head guess, and now pull the hammer back and let the round go because I'd be probably dead.
I'm withdrawing my answer. Taking my shot back on that. I'm not going to make it.
Well, I'm going to taste. I'm going in for a taste.
All right, let's go with A. Cleet Alford is watching. Cleet, thanks for joining us. He used to be my Affleck guy. Affleck. Can't talk, and I haven't even had a sip yet.
It's so hard to tell.
And I think what we need to do here is go
especially
A to C since they're in the glass.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. I mean, A tastes nice.
It does. It's not as smooth as some of the stuff we had last week. And again, who knows if that's the glass. We'll see when we get to these so we can compare.
I'm going to go to C.
Same. What do you think, bud? That is smoother to me.
It is smoother. I like C more than A.
Mm-hmm. Me too. It's a little sweeter.
I recognize the profile, kind of, to be honest with you. I think it's the benchmark.
You do?
Yeah. But I could be completely wrong.
Yeah, well, if you're going there with it, what we were talking about earlier, the ancient age and the Buffalo Trace profile and everything, okay.
It's got more of that sweet, butterscotchy caramel, where this is more brown sugar, bourbony to me.
You know, I said sweet on this one, but actually, whatever A is has got a really sweet tone to it.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't get it the first time because of that damn.
It's
ethanol.
oakier.
Yeah.
It's oakier, and that's why I think you're right that that's the Heaven Hill, because that's more bourbony bourbon to me. But now here, it'll be interesting for us to sit there and say, okay, I think this is the same as this. I mean, this is complex. This is more complex than what you might think it is, even though it's only 2 whiskeys.
Right. So recap for those of you who have joined, we've got 2 whiskeys, 4 glasses in front of us, 2 different types of glasses. We're trying to figure out what's in what and if the glass makes a difference in the tasting.
And the reason we're doing that is because both of us really like this particular bottle. But one of the things that has been a theme of ours is with the bourbon market has lost its fucking mind, okay, when it comes to pricing. And for all practical purposes, this is a $50 bottle. And this is a $22 bottle. Yep. So, but in last week's blind, this $22 bottle.
No, first week's, but yeah.
Well, in the first round, this $22 bottle won
the first round and came in.
Wasn't the least expensive bottle, third, but it came in third last week, so ahead of this $50 bottle. And so what's the better value proposition based on last week would be this. And this is, regardless of this, whether this is on the table or not, this is good, really good bourbon. Yeah. This is a true value proposition because in this scenario, it's not like this is bad. This is really good.
Right.
But I can buy 2 bottles plus have a little gas money left over for the price of this.
Exactly. Right.
So
is it really worth going out and spending that much? And that's exactly what we were trying to prove with the whole experiment to begin with, the round 1, round 2 part. We just ran into this other experiment in the process.
Correct. And I think last week, because that came in right in the middle, it proves, and it'd be
that
interesting
it stands up.
That it holds its own against really what is perceived by the market as better quality bourbons.
Right.
But there was a distinct line, at least in my palate, where the first 2 were definitely considerably better, which was the McKenna
the 3
and the Colonel Taylor.
Right.
They were a league better than the last 3.
Right. What surprised me was that the Henry McKenna came in front of the Colonel Taylor.
One of the questions that I have, because that bottle of Henry McKenna,
the cork.
Well, the cork is unfortunately
cork fell out and broke last week. For those of you who didn't see it, you can go back.
But that one tainted that quickly. Okay, and that bottle of Henry McKenna is that special barrel.
Just right, the one
that won the 2020.
Okay.
Whiskey of the Year at the San Francisco Whiskey Competition. So, I by just coincidence or luck of the draw, I bought that bottle, and that competition hadn't even taken place. And after it was announced that particular whiskey won that competition, I went and looked at my bottle and said, "Holy shit! I have one of the 283 bottles that came out of that barrel."
Right.
So I was lucky.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, so where are we going next?
I guess we're going to test B and D, and then go back and try to figure out
which is which.
I mean, I don't know. Do you agree with me on the assessment on these two?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this is probably the benchmark because of that Buffalo Trace. Which, another side note on that, Buffalo Trace. Ancient Age is the brand my granddaddy drank. Susan, he used to get it at the little liquor store right there in Hateville and make his Manhattans with it. Well, we always talked about that being a lower shelf.
It is today.
It is absolute low shelf today. Back then it was a 7-year bourbon.
Here, the AAA was a 10-year bourbon.
Yep, that's right.
And here, the reason a lot of people don't realize, the reason that it became a 2-year bourbon and went to the bottom shelf is because they couldn't keep up with the demand
Right.
for especially the AAA, which was a 10-year age-stated bottle.
Oh, I still miss that because we used to do it with eggnog every year. But anyway, what we're saying
What
is
today's
this,
ancient age is not the same as what it was back in the 1970s or 80s.
I can tell you this: if this is the benchmark in this glass and everything, I'd be glad to use this in place of ancient age in my eggnog this year. The triple.
Here, I already know that I'm going to go before I run out of that bottle and get a backup bottle.
There you go.
Because it's $22
Right.
in this, and now we just found a new to us liquor store that we didn't know was there.
That
That
one of my favorites.
that has one of his favorites, which is the
Same
McKenna.
price, we got this.
Yeah, for a little bit more, but not much.
Right.
So, and they seem to have a nice selection. Maybe we'll go do a hunt there and
There you go.
do a video there.
I've got another place, Spirit Shop, up on.
Yeah, I mean that'd be
that
we
check
could do a couple together. I mean, we certainly haven't hit all the stores in Gainesville. We're not even close.
Right.
So,
All right. B&D.
all right. Yeah, we're burning. We're burning daylight, as they say.
That's all right. It's only 9:07. These folks got a little while. Plus, we got a hurricane coming. Where we got to go right now?
Now, see, I like the nose on D more than B. If I gosh, I like the nose more. I can't say which is which.
Definitely less ethanol in these glasses.
On the nose, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh,
Let me hit B first.
that's really good.
Sweet and a lot smoother than either one of the wider glasses. That part of the theory is proven.
We did this a disservice last week.
When sipping neat, get a Glencairn glass. That's my recommendation. Wouldn't you say that would be yours?
Okay, now that I've sipped both, I think, because I think this is the Buffalo Trace and this is the Heaven Hill.
Okay.
Now, you know what's funny though? And the only reason I say that is because D is more oaky.
I think you're right.
It's more oaky.
And you know what?
It's not
better
like,
in this glass.
It's considerably better in this
than
glass
the benchmark, and in the other,
then I think this.
It's almost the opposite. I think the benchmark. I mean, if that's where we are, you see what I mean. If C is benchmark, like we said, in the wider glasses, then it's the better of these two. But maybe opposite in this. Who knows? We'll see. Now I just sound like an idiot over here.
In tasting B and D, both of them are really good.
Okay,
I like both of them.
Yeah, I do too.
It would be, what do I feel like? Because there's a difference in profile. There's definitely a difference in flavor.
Our pins that I got us up here.
Oh.
All right. I like that we did this experiment too. I'm digging it more and more.
Yeah, I'm just going to make my notes on.
Any excuse to drink, right?
Hey, I'm writing BM.
All right.
All right. Just after tasting this, I think it's Heaven Hill, benchmark, Heaven Hill. That's what I believe.
I'm with you on that. Hi, Allie. My daughter is here with us.
Now, hi, Allie. How you doing, honey?
I love you.
Sorry I call you honey, but it's like you're my second daughter.
Well,
I've got like 3 or 4 of those, but...
Right? We've known her since she was, what, 14?
14 or 15.
Yep. Allie says, signal sucks in this small town, but I'm here. She's doing the traveling thing.
Oh.
She's out there traveling.
Yeah, she's out traveling.
Yep.
Tell us where you're at.
Yep. No top secret there, I'm sure.
No, she's in an interesting part. It's going to be interesting for you coming up in the wintertime traveling out there.
And for those of you watching back, my daughter is a registered cardiac invasive specialist and is traveling doing that. I'm really proud of her.
Yeah.
Speaking of heart-related things, I saw Derek the other day.
Oh, you did?
Yep. And so we still want to get him in here pretty quickly.
He needs to come in, coming up here. Yeah.
Yep. And we'll go over what we're going to do after, next week.
Programming note.
Right. We'll do a programming note on next week, and then we're going to get a couple of other guests lined up because I've got somebody else that wants to be a part of this too.
See, now, I don't know.
Which we'll discuss in a little bit. I'm right with you. I got Heaven Hill, benchmark, Heaven Hill. Now, back to what I said before.
In the Glencairns, it's tough to distinguish. We could be completely wrong.
We could. I'm still going to call my number one pick in the Glencairns as D. And my number one pick in the other as C.
My number one pick in the whiskey glass is C also. I haven't decided on.
Dude, this is okay. You haven't decided on the other two yet. He's got to have a little more sample of it over there.
Well, because it's again, you know what? It's really close. I mean, it really kind of just depends on your palate that day, or what do you feel like that day.
Yeah. I think we could do the same blind on different weeks and have different results.
I agree.
Now, the question is that our palates, or is that just the way that it is for everyone?
It's our palates today.
Yeah.
Because it changes. There's times where, I'll use Wild Turkey 101 because I really like that bourbon. I like, the only thing in the Russell's lineup that I don't find as good as it should be is the Russell's 10-year.
Okay.
It should be a better bourbon than it is, but it's priced appropriately. It's like $40,
Okay.
as opposed to other 10 years that are more expensive. Henry McKenna is a good example. Those two compete for the same
market or whatever.
market spot niche.
Yeah.
But the Russell's just lacks to me in that flavor category. But where, as you know, the wobbly gobbler is just
Still one of my favorite cocktails that we've had yet.
Well, because the Rare Breed just stands out. It's such a good whiskey.
Yeah.
So you just got to put up with the proof because the flavor is just outstanding.
I've made my decisions. I'm just drinking over here now.
Yeah.
What was this? We had a song that we used to play in Rough and Ready. I ain't drunk. I'm only drinking. Or I'm just drinking. I think it was. I can't remember the name of the artist. But anyway, anybody knows, tell me.
I'll never forget the first time that I got pulled over at a, and this is going a long way back when I was truly a smartass. I got pulled over at a...
Wait, hold on. When you were truly a smartass?
Yeah, I'm less of a smartass today than I was back
well, he's
then.
been a smartass the whole time I've known him. But that's good. Better smartass than a dumbass.
That's what they tell me. I got pulled over at a DUI checkpoint.
Oh, boy.
And, of course, the cop, what does he have to do? Have you had anything to drink tonight? I said, he looked at him, I said, I would never drink and drive. I said, I would drink then drive, but never drink and drive. And he looked at me like I was Medusa. I mean...
Right? Well, of course he did.
And he's giving me this quizzical look, like he couldn't. It didn't register, because he was like, "Are you telling me you're drinking? You drink and drive?" And he surveyed the inside of the car quickly. You saw his eyes dash, because he's like, "Okay, is there a soda can in the car? Is there something? Is there a drinking vessel in the car?" And he said, "So when's the last time you had something to drink?" "Oh, geez, at least 3 days ago." He goes, 3 days ago was Tuesday. I said, "Yeah, I had a rough day on Tuesday, so I came down and slammed a bottle of whatever I said."
Right.
He's like, "Are you fucking with me?" I said, "You're damn right I'm fucking with you. You're fucking with me right now." And he finally laughed. You got
He's
like, okay.
Yeah.
He says, "Have you had anything to drink tonight?" And I said, No, sir, I have not. I'm sorry for fucking with you, but I figured you needed some levity.
Right.
He's like, "Get the
Sometimes
fuck out
you
of
got to
here."
do that to make somebody's day.
Well, I had my wife and then another couple in the back seat.
They're probably all freaking out, I'm thinking, when you're doing this.
He's like, "Get the fuck out of here."
That's awesome. Oh, man. Well, here, let's do our craziness roundup while you're deciding on your last two over here. Slowpoke.
No, here, I've made a decision. I like B more.
Okay.
I like
He
B
likes
more. Tonight.
Okay.
It's
Tonight, yeah.
D is really good. I think you're right. I think we're right. D is the Heaven Hill. Mm-hmm. And the reason I'm pretty sure it's the Heaven Hill is it's just more bourbony. It's just more bourbony. It's got that quintessential oaky, brown sugar, caramel, fucking little bit of peanut in there.
Right.
Or maybe not peanut, pecan.
But definitely nutty, for sure.
Just a little nutty. And it's not clicking my palate tonight. This is clicking my palate more.
All right. So B is your number one pick.
Yeah. But here,
out of the
in the four, if I had to do 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, B is number 1 for me, D is number 2,
of course,
C is number 3, and A is number 4.
Okay, so you're with me on the whiskey style glasses, and that C is your number 1 there. Correct?
Yes.
All right. So at least one of us is mismatched.
Well, let's find out what's what.
So yeah, here for the rundown. A didn't get any votes at all, actually. B, Scott thought it was the best of the Glencairns. C, we both thought were the best of the whiskey glasses, and I thought that D was the best in the Glencairn.
Well, we were right.
Okay.
A and D are Heaven Hill. B and C are Benchmark.
We were right on at HBBH. Okay.
Yep.
All right, so you picked Benchmark number 1 in both categories.
Yeah, tonight.
And I even said early that I thought I had them.
But no, here's what's funny, and this kind of goes to prove the point for last week. I said, and because I wrote it down, my number 1, if I had to grade them on a 1 to 4 scale, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So, okay.
You're still in opposite order, yeah.
Yeah, I picked Benchmark as my number 1, but then the Glencairn glass of Heaven Hill is number 2.
Right.
So I think that proves the point that the glass makes a big difference.
Right. And see, I didn't go that far as to give them an all 4 rating on it. I just did the 2 separations.
I do think that affected the outcome. Now, what would be interesting to do is to then... Now, you picked this as the better Glencairn, though.
Right.
So you like this more than that in the Glencairn,
exactly.
Which is interesting.
In the wider, cheaper glass, the cheaper whiskey seems to fare better. You see what I'm saying? Not really cheaper, but
I get what you're saying.
So for the cheaper whiskey, to me, the wider glass was better in the experience.
You know what would be interesting to do then, maybe, is since there was, we both agreed there was a clear delineation point, is to bring 1792 and do a 3-way blind.
I'm thinking this season may be a bunch of blinds.
Well, we have the super secret blind.
Yeah.
And we're going to do that. I don't know when
We still
we're
have
going
that,
to do
and that doesn't even count on March Madness blind that we've got.
Well, and the
coming
March
up.
Madness blind is going to happen in March.
It's going to be a lengthy one. It's going to be a whole season by itself. I'm just going to say.
Oh, yeah, because that's easily 8 weeks.
Okay. So, all right. Well, speaking of that, let's go to a couple other things. Do you want to go with housekeeping first or general?
Well, let's do, I don't know. You know, you just mentioned the craziness, so
Let's do the quick craziness roundup. Then I want to go over a couple of personal things that have been going on in my life.
Oh yeah, no, he's got some great, exciting personal news that I'm excited for you.
A couple of you out there will probably already know this, but I'm going to be introducing a group of friends to you guys soon. We'll say that. Craziness roundup. Where do you want to start?
Well,
Diddy? David Henson, thank you for joining us tonight. Bass player from 166.
If you haven't listened, or just go to YouTube and type in Jaguar Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T, Jaguar Wright.
Jaguar, right?
However you spell Jaguar.
Wisconsin, Georgia. You guys figure out which way you say it.
It's the cat with the spots that kind of looks like a leopard but cooler. You know, Jaguars used to be found in Texas.
Did they?
Anyways.
Then the economy kept people from buying them anymore over that way, right?
I guess, you know, them Texas boys like their American truck.
Yep.
No, if just go YouTube that name, and she is
Jaguar Wright.
That's somebody that's an insider. That is dishing info on the reality of some of that situation.
Yeah.
And that out here, that situation got under my skin this week. I had kind of an off week.
Yeah.
Because it's becoming very clear to me that there's a very broad problem that runs through politics.
You ain't lying.
Entertainment, and I think here, if you look at it this way, Epstein was blackmailing the political realm. Mm-hmm. Diddy was
Somebody's taking his place.
Diddy was blackmailing the music realm. Harvey Weinstein was blackmailing the Hollywood realm. And we're going to find out somebody is undermining, blackmailing, whatever you want to say the sporting world. What does that do? That controls the outcome of games. That controls a lot of sports books.
And speaking of the sports world, isn't that contract about up?
Yeah, I think somehow that ties into this. I don't know how.
I'm thinking we might hear some sad country songs about breakups soon.
Well, you know, and here, for you country music fans, don't think that this Diddy stuff stops at rap, because it doesn't. It goes beyond that. And if you look at what Jaguar Wright's talking about and some of the pictures that are behind her on the rear screen, she's showing you some things that are extremely disturbing.
I am going to mention a particular musician. I know we normally stay away from politics overall.
Yeah, we do. We're kind of doing superficial.
Right.
This is saying this is part of the zeitgeist, and this is why we get together.
Right.
We'll talk about this kind of just as a reminder to say, hey, leave this stuff behind. Come in and enjoy a cocktail and some fellowship.
But the one thing that I want to bring up here is the difference between two different concerts. Okay? So last week, Betty and I, as you know, and some of you guys know, went to go see Creed down in Tampa. Incredible freaking show, by the way. If any of you folks in Atlanta, well, they're supposed to be seeing them tonight, I believe. Anyway, more shows coming all around. You guys go, seriously. Second tour, too. 3 Doors Down is going to be going with them. All I'm going to say about that, it was a very inspirational concert in more than one regard.
I still can't
left-
get over how good that is for $22.
I'll say this: I left feeling like we'd had God and Country night in Tampa, and that's all I'll say about it. Okay. On the flip side of that, rapper Macklemore. Have you heard about this bullshit?
No. I
Out there
missed
in
it.
protests out on the left coast somewhere.
Yeah, well, Seattle's his hometown.
It was Seattle then. That's exactly what it was. Got out there and said, fuck America. At a protest. At an yeah.
You know, here, I'll tell you this.
I don't
would
care
tell
what
him,
you think about the politics in this country.
and the politics in this country are
Are
fucked up.
screwed up, yeah. Christy Bias, thank you for joining us. Another old high school classmate of mine.
You know,
So there's kind of our craziness roundup before we get too deep into it, because we
Yeah,
will
let's-
go down that rabbit
yeah,
hole. after
I
we
don't
go
want to
off
get
this.
down that rabbit hole because that's like a cheese grater on my bald scale.
Right.
you
But
know?
speaking of music,
yeah,
I'm
let's
trying
just-
to keep us rolling.
Yeah, no, that's a great segue. He's got a great piece of news. It's
Speaking of
fun.
music.
I'm really excited for him. I'm excited to
Yep.
be around it too. To be honest, because I know
Yeah.
you're going to say we got to have my buddy Scott. He's got an incredible year.
Yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
yeah, yeah.
You're going to convince some.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Dude, plus you're just going to have fun when we play out, coming to see us and shit too.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's going to be a cool experience. Anyway, if you guys haven't figured it out yet, I went and did something I hadn't done in over 20 years this week. I auditioned and joined a band. The name of the band is Long Strange Day. You can look them up on Facebook.
What a long, strange day it's been.
And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this.
And their music is not at all
Typical.
dead.
Yeah, no. But it's also atypical to most everything else. It's very unique. It's very original. And
I would say the
gonna
lead-
love being a part of this.
The lead vocalist
Bill Mason, by the way.
has the potential to I've listened to his stuff live, and whoever does their board,
The YouTube stuff that you don't like out there, then.
whoever did your board on your lives, you need to get a new board guy.
Yeah. But
Okay.
the stuff that I played for him
The recorded
tonight,
stuff, when you project, and I hope is he watching? I don't know. I hope you're watching.
he's not currently watching, but I know he will.
When you, first of all, I love the time signatures. Mm-hmm. You know, the mixing the time signatures is right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
And when you project your voice correctly or properly or however you want to
In
put
a
it,
controlled fashion,
in a
like
controlled
you can.
it really it's a unique voice.
Yeah. Bill's got a great voice.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to this. And we're a 5-piece. We've got Bill on bass and lead vocals and is our main creative mind.
And you got some boning up to do though.
Oh, hell yeah, I do. But we've also got Chris Carter on lead guitar, who's another Rush geek like me.
but who's got some talent.
Oh, yeah.
He definitely has some talent.
But that's one of my Rush buddies back here. I've actually been to a couple of events. Remember when I went to Simmons Frangiato with Buck? Chris was there with us too. So, see, I've been in orbit of these guys for 17 years the entire time I've been in Gainesville. Okay, quick story. When I first came to Gainesville, I wanted to join a band. So I put an ad out on bandmix.com. And that was initially where Bill and I contacted each other. I can't remember who contacted who initially, but it was right around the time Aiden was born, or a little bit before it.
Okay.
Right? So it would have been January to April, because we moved to town in January 2008. So somewhere in that time, he responded to me. Well, of course, my son was born in April of that year, and things got just nuts on me. I was manager of Walden Books at the same time. Then they shut down, and I ended up working for Payless. Like within 3 days of leaving Walden Books, I was in Payless's system and blah, blah. Life got in the way. That's what it boils down to.
It happens to all of us.
Jack Gallagher, thank you for watching tonight. That's Coach Jack. He's a wrestling coach up in Tennessee. Am I remembering that correctly, Jack, or am I mixing Jacks up in my head? Anyway, I know him from Hateville High School.
Okay.
So anyway, flash forward a few years later, Jen's uncle moves in with us.
Oh, yeah.
And when we move from that house, he's not going to have room to move into the next house with us. He was living with us, helping taking care of my grandmother. We had a huge house. Right.
I remember that house.
So we had a huge house. We had to downsize.
Cameron?
He ended up
Camry.
Camry. Same as the Toyota Camry. Yeah.
Which that was a neat house.
Yeah.
It would be a really
old.
neat house if it would have gotten
it up.
completely gutted and redesigned the interior.
Maybe one day.
Somebody. Right.
Right. But anyway, when he moved out from us, he answered an ad for a roommate and moved in with members of the band.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah. This was...
The universe works in crazy ways. That's one of them right there.
Yeah, it is.
That's the universe demonstrating.
Like I said, I've been in orbit with these guys, specifically Bill and Chris, the entire time I've been in Gainesville. One thing or another.
It was just finally time.
Yeah. Chris attended the Rush Cinema Strangiatos with me, the Rush movies that they did at the theaters. And then a couple of years ago, Bill reached out to me again. Again, I agreed to go over an audition. Again, life circumstances went nuts on me, and I ended up having to cancel and never went over there on audition.
And it could be, the universe was like, no, not yet.
Yeah.
No, not yet.
After almost 17 years, I'm a member of Long Strange Day.
Which I think is super exciting for you.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for you.
I am too. And there was a couple of signs while I was there that it was the right thing to do too. One of them involves my dad. As you know, we've talked in the past that my dad, when he drank, not very often, but he liked scotch. And
You sent me those pictures.
And his favorite brand was Glenfiddich. And Bill, while I was over there, because he's a fan of our cast here, was showing off some of his liquors. He's got a little bar out back. We might want to go over there and record one night.
Well, maybe on the night that we have him as a guest, we record there.
Okay.
That'd be fun.
We can do that. Bill will coordinate with you about it when you see this on the recast, because I haven't seen him come in tonight yet. But anyway, I got his last pour of Glenfiddich 14.
Which is...
Oh my God! I've never had scotch in that way before. Now I did have it chilled. It was over a whiskey ball.
Okay.
But man,
so it opens
sweet.
it up. It opens it up, and
it was sweet. It was smooth. I had a sip of Glendronach too.
Here's the question I had. Because I don't know my scotches nearly as well as I know my bourbons, but is Glendronach an Islay style scotch? Do you know?
I would not know.
Okay.
We can research that and get back with you guys on it. But
the reason I say that,
I'm super excited about being a part of one.
The reason I say that is when you taste an Islay style scotch, that's a peated scotch.
That is it.
And it tastes...
Because Bill mentioned that specifically.
It tastes so different. And
I can't remember which one it was, but his thing is Irish whiskeys.
Yeah, I know you told me that.
Not a fan of Jameson, so we're not doing the cold brew with him.
Well, here, Jameson is like the bottom shelf of Irish whiskeys.
He's into Bushmills.
Okay, that's a. Here, Bill, if you like Bushmills, you'll like Blue Spot. You will.
Cool.
But I think Blue Spot is overpriced, though. I'll say that. Bushmills appropriately priced. Value proposition, I think, is better with Bushmills.
You do me a favor? The back of that speaker, there's a little button on the top left side of it.
Oh,
somewhere.
Is that time already?
Yeah.
Where's the hour going?
Well, I'm just kind of getting us a little bit ready. We're
this
out
one?
now since we came on late. No, very back of it, and it's going to be on the top. You're right.
Oh, push
little
it up.
bitty button, yeah, little bitty button. You just push it in. Hold it in for a second.
Okay.
Getting my Bluetooth connection from my music phone over here. All right, we're good. And again, I was just kind of trying to get it ready ahead of time.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no,
I brought
that's fair.
things up there. But where were we? What were we on?
This is a super interesting bot. We got to talk about what we're doing.
Oh yeah. Let's go on to next week. What are we doing next?
What are we doing next week?
We talked about it last week. Are we still going to go in that direction?
We can if you want. I mean, here, I almost feel like putting it out.
Okay. Here, dang, I wish we'd done the poll now. If we thought about it ahead of time.
Well, we could do it.
I'll put a poll out there. So, I don't know. Can we do a poll on YouTube?
I don't know.
We can on Instagram and Facebook.
We can on Instagram and Facebook, but I don't know if we can on YouTube. We could tell the YouTube audience to go drive them to the Instagram or the Facebook.
Links are there already, so we'll put a comment up or something like that that will drive them in that direction, or an ad. There we go. That's the way to go with it.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we're going to put it out there to you guys as to what we do next week. And Wayne Powers, no margaritas yet. We will get to that. Last time he was the only one that answered the poll.
Margaritas.
I know we don't have very many viewers, but we do have some loyal people out there. Would you guys please answer the poll this time? So we're going to put a poll out there later this week. One of the options will be...
One of the things that we've done in the past is after we get done with these blinds is we'll make cocktails, a series of cocktails using the bottles that we have.
The particular whiskeys that we have in the blinds.
And what I planned on doing is probably a couple of weeks worth of stuff to kind of recycle things, which are, I was going to do old-fashioned riffs.
Right.
Which
but
I was
from
going to...
what I hear, you don't have any early times left, so we can't put that one in the round.
Well... No, it's Evan Williams.
Oh, Evan Williams.
Evan Williams. I have enough for one cocktail, so maybe I just need to go buy another bottle of that since it's only $18.
Right, that's an $18 bottle, right?
You know, they ain't going to kill me. But, here, since Michael and I started making cocktails, my wife and I enjoy a cocktail. When she gets home from work or when I get home from work, we'll have a cocktail. And we just enjoy sitting down and kind of unwinding the traditional kind of thing. Yeah, I'm all empty now too. So the traditional kind of thing where we, just unwind a little bit, talk to each other, spend time together, talk about how our days was, any funny anecdotes for the day, any drama for the day, etc. And my wife usually has drama. I have no drama on my work because I really don't interface with people. So that Evan Williams bottle has got maybe one cocktail left in it because we've been using that.
I love it.
And I've been drinking old fashions. It's one of my favorite drinks. So, but I was going to make what's called an elder fashion, another one that's called an improved whiskey cocktail, which would introduce a new. We'll use an old liqueur. Both of those will use a liqueur that has made appearances here before, but then I'll introduce something new to our lineup. And then for our other idea,
no rush.
Well, pun intended.
Pun intended that time. But yeah, yes rush, but no rush in your.
Our other idea was, now that we've kind of figured out that the glass really does make a difference.
Yes, it does.
There's no question about
I'd say
it.
out of everything tonight, we definitely proved that in our scientific experiment. In our scientific sipping, the whiskey glass is definitely a different experience than the Glencairn.
No question.
More ethanol, less taste in both cases.
Less flavor. I 100% agree. And if you did this
harsher
test,
nose,
it would be very clear to you also. So our other idea is, our question becomes, okay, 1792 bottled and bond was right in the middle of these two.
Number 3, number 5. So it was 1792 was number 4 in our 5 lineup last week.
And since we were surprised that this came in last and this was in one of these glasses, what we'd like to do is, especially now since Michael has said, hey, he liked the Heaven Hill more than the benchmark in the Glencairn. Mm-hmm. So bring the 1792 back and do a three-way blind between those three bourbons.
And then the third selection was your Oktoberfest.
Oh, I completely forgot about that.
Right. So we talked about possibly having Buck in as a guest and doing a Martzen style beer next week, right?
Which, for those of you that don't know, the Oktoberfest in Germany happens in Munich. Well, it happens all over the country, but the main festival is in the city of München, is how they say it. So, yes, and I've been there. It is a grand festival. You see lots of boobies. The whole world comes to that festival. It actually starts on the last week of September and runs through the first week of October. So next week is the first week of October. It would be very appropriate for us to do that.
Right. Okay. So our poll is going to be cocktails, blind, or
Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest. Our first foray out of out of liquor of any kind if we did that.
And you know, now thinking back about what our discussion, I can already tell you my vote is for Oktoberfest.
I'm going to say that's where my vote is too. We want to hear your vote. Watch for your polls on Facebook and Instagram. We will see you guys next week on Loquacious Libations.
Peace.
Have a great
Enjoy
week.
your week.
Everybody that's in the path of this damn hurricane, be safe. We will see you guys next week.